Dear Canon, what the f? Hey everybody, welcome back to Run and Gun. I'm JT, and this video is going to be all about Canon's new release of its Canon R, which apparently stands for Revolution, even though it's not that revolutionary camera. So let's get in and let's talk about the specs of this camera right off the bat. So Canon has come up with a new mount, an RF mount, and they've also released a new line of RF lenses to go with this mount. And Canon's thought process was smaller and lighter and lightweight with this new camera. And apparently, like I said, R stands for revolutionary, which these lenses absolutely look revolutionary, but the mirrorless body is what I'm really let down by. It has a 30.3 megapixel sensor, I believe, and it has a whole bunch of new autofocus features. It now features 12 pins, which apparently make your autofocus faster between the communication between your lens and your camera. Who knew? And the retail price for this camera when it's actually released is going to be about $22.99, so about $2,300. And I'm sure there will be options to buy it with a kit lens, probably the new 24-105 f4 lens. So Canon also says that their new RF lenses will be comparable to their EF and EFS lenses, and these new lenses will be interchangeable on this mirrorless body with EF and EFS lenses with a weather sealed adapter. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a bunch of Canon EF glass already, and I really don't want to get rid of it, so I would have to buy an adapter, and that kind of stinks. But why am I going to go purchase a whole bunch of new Canon glass that isn't good for any other body other than this new Canon R mirrorless body? I'm not going to yet. Now, Canon is also boasting the ability of the camera to shoot at ISO 40,000. So it ranges from 100 ISO to 40,000 ISO. And they're saying it has remarkable low light performance and remarkable low light autofocus performance. But we haven't seen any of that yet. Canon's really going to have to prove that, especially up against the Sony A7 line. The A7 II, the A7 III, A7S. We're really going to have to see that, and we're going to have to see proof of this low light performance from Canon before I decide to make a purchase, and I think before anybody else decides to make a purchase of this camera. Now let's talk a little bit about video with the Canon R. We're looking at 4K on what doesn't appear to be any sort of new sensor, and the video is going to be cropped on the sensor. I don't know about you, but that infuriates me, and that really frustrates me, and I just want to tell Canon, come on, like, what are we doing here? Why would I buy this camera to shoot 4K 30 frames per second when I can do the same thing with my GH5 or a Sony? What is revolutionary about that? That is what really kind of frustrates me about Canon's new camera. You guys want to be revolutionary. You're coming to this mirrorless market late already. What are you doing to improve the market, not just try and stay afloat?
Swim fast as a shark, Eddie! Hurry!
And I think that's what Canon's really doing right now. That's great that you shoot 4K. So does everybody else, Canon. Come on, do something new. How about give us 4K at 120 frames per second or something else, better low light performance, which again, we still haven't seen yet. I'm shooting pretty good low light performance at 12,800 ISO on my GH5. It's not perfect, but it's definitely usable from what I've done in tests. But come on, Canon, you gotta step up your game here and really drive into this mirrorless market. Otherwise, you're just trying to barely stay afloat competing in this mirrorless game. And what else is the Canon R missing? Well, it looks like the Canon R is also missing Embody stabilization like the GH5 has. And that's a little bit frustrating too. It looks like the RF lenses will have stabilization built in and probably vibration reduction. But this is another thing. This is the reason why I didn't buy a GH5S. You lost that Embody stabilization, and that is huge. I can walk around with my GH5 and treat it like I'm running around with a Steadicam or a glide cam, but I don't need that because I'm just nice and steady with that Embody stabilization paired up with the stabilization in the lens, and it's just extremely smooth video, especially at 60 frames per second. I haven't bought a Canon camera since 2009, since my 5D Mark II, and that's exactly why when I was buying a new camera and a new body, I decided to switch over to Panasonic and purchase the GH5. Canon really hasn't done much in between the 5Ds, and that's really frustrating to me. From the 5D2 to the 5D3, there wasn't a reason for me to update and upgrade and spend that extra money on that new body. And from the 3 to the 4, really wasn't that big of a jump. Sure, I'm shooting 4K video, but I can do that with my GH5, shoot in Vlog, shoot 60 frames per second, and shoot some gorgeous, gorgeous video. And I just can't do that with the Canon line and with Canon cameras. And it's just super, super frustrating. And over the past 10 years, I've just been continuously let down by Canon and Canon's new releases. And right now, it doesn't look like the Canon R Mirrorless is gonna be any different. And I'm waiting for Canon to give me something or show me something revolutionary and to impress me. So Canon, if you wanna give me something new, that's awesome. Until then, I'm sticking with my Panasonic, or heck, I'm probably gonna go and play with the Nikon Z, but for right now, you're not showing me anything all that great, and I'm really underwhelmed. But hey, if you wanna send me the new R camera to try out, I'd love to try it. I'd love to take it down to New York City, take it around the world, do what I can with it, play with it. But right now, you're not showing me anything to be impressed about. So those are my thoughts on the Canon R. That's kind of why I switched from Canon to Panasonic. I still do shoot stills on my Nikon bodies, but for video, Panasonic all the way. So that is all for this episode. I hope you guys like what you saw. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of my thoughts on new bodies or photography tips, tricks, and hacks, because that's what Run and Gun is all about. So until next time, get out and go shoot. I'll see you guys next weekend.